Hello chaps and chapettes, and welcome to the double back smooth mellow smelling coffee taste monthly. Yes, it's my blog for October 2017, where I'm going to take a look back at all the games that I've reviewed in October, as well as the games that I've played for the first time in October. And then I'm going to go into a section, obviously because it's October, of Essen, because I was there. Hoo-hoo! That sounded like Father Christmas. Winter is coming, and now Christmas is coming. And then I finish off, because this double back monthly is paired up with my Patreon prize draw to win a copy of Last Night, my CD soundtrack. Although it's a digital version, I still like to call it a CD. And also your chance to win a few little goodies as well. So without further ado, let's take a quick look at the games that I've reviewed and maybe some podcasts that I've done. So, some of the games that I reviewed this month. I'll start off with another review for Seventh Continent. Seventh Continent is a kind of choose your own path kind of game where characters and players will be stranded on an island and they have to surviving on that island, and they will have an objective, and this is in the form of a curse. Now this review is for a two-player game, how the game compares when you play two players in comparison to a solo experience. There is kind of a very much different, a big difference in the game because of the way that the powers interact with each other, because having another player at your side, they can help you on certain tasks, but you're going to feel restricted on the things that you can hold in your hand, the things that you can build, because they will either collect them, or they will either be the ones that can build them, or your limitations will play a big part. It is fun to brainstorm each kind of thing which is in your location with another player. And it's also useful because they will point out things that you're going to miss, because normally when you play solo, you get like so involved in what you want to get there now, and sometimes getting from one space to another can be a slug of a turn, because there's so many other things that are going to happen. But it's still a very cool game. I would recommend playing it with two. I prefer playing it solo because, it's your story then. A 3 or 4 player, I don't know if it's going to be as much fun, because there's going to be a lot of waiting around if certain players decide that they're going to go off and do something else. And there's also that certain frustration that, other players are going to want to do something else, and you're like, no, the path is there. But still a fantastic game. That's the Seventh Continent. Next up is a brand new game which is fresh from Essen, and that is Dragon Castle from Horrible Games. It's a very chilled, mellow aroma of it's je ne sais quoi, but it's a very, very zen feeling kind of game. It is basically Mahjong Solitaire, which you've probably played on your PC. I'm sure you have played on your PC, but it's more not cooperative, the reverse of cooperative, competitive, where you're taking apart this old castle, which is like the Mahjong layout, and you're building your own castle. And whenever you connect 4 tiles of the same color, you get to turn them over and score for them. You also get the chance to turn one of these tiles into a shrine by placing a cap on it. So there's going to be a whole lot of strategy on the tiles that you collect and where you place them in your castle, as well as what the other players are doing. And you can be nasty as hell to them, but they don't feel it, because hey, it's a Zen game, and it does come across as a very Zen game. You can just narrow down and concentrate on your castle, but it's best to keep an eye on the other guys, see what kind of colors they're going for, because they may screw you over. There's some special powers, and there's also like a different objective to get different points more points at the end of the game. It's a very beautiful tactile game, really highly produced. It could have been produced a little bit better, but I think that it would have pushed the old value of the game up a bit more, but very much very enjoyable. And apparently they sold out at Essen 900 copies, so that's Dragon Castle. And another brand new game to Essen, well, kind of brand new to Essen, is Paper Tales. This is a card game where players are going to be drafting characters and creatures from fairy tale mythology and then placing them in their kingdom and letting them mine resources which you can use to build buildings into your village, and you're going to be fighting each other, and you're going to be drafting some more and then placing them into your village, and etc, etc. This is a game which is Seven Wonders, but with that smoother, kind of really fresh gameplay. It plays very, very quickly. There's no waiting around at the end of the game to see if you won or not. Everything is very, very clean and precise. The iconography, the gameplay itself, as I said, is very smooth, very balanced. But again, the balance comes from knowing what cards are in the deck. This game will take a little while to, you know, after you've played it a few times, you will start making combos of creatures and people, and then the buildings as well, as they influence your kingdom and give them more powers and give them more money and give them it's just an accumulation game, and you start from scratch. You start with nothing, and this game is for me a Seven Wonders killer, because Seven Wonders is just too aggressive, too long, and too dull. This is very fast paced, it's very contained, and apart from looking a bit strange, it fits the theme. And that's Paper Tales from Catch Up Games. And finally, Berkey and Badger were reunited. Yes, I got to chat with my Kevin Burkhardsmeyer, the smooth talking American, who was telling us all about his Kickstarter campaign, Game Toppers. In this show, a pocket full of awards, we examined award ceremonies. You know, which ones were the important ones to you, which ones just didn't serve any purpose. What is the purpose of an award, and why are there so many now? We had a good old chat. We played some games with each other, and when I say games, I don't mean we get out a deck of cards. We actually play games like, you know, do a first impressions section, and we describe the game to each other, and the other person's got to guess. And also, if you're watching live on YouTube, you can try and guess as well and be a smooth criminal. Coffee. But anywho, talking of first impressions, let's slide over to the first impressions booth, which I need to just move the camera to another corner of the room. Okay, time to wake up and talk about a game that I've played for the first time, and that game is going to be Rising 5. There you go, Rising 5. And as you can see, this is a very big box, and that's because I backed the collector's edition of Rising 5, but it was on Kickstarter last year. What is Rising 5? It's a cooperative game where players are going to be taking control of a team of 5 heroes, much like Guardians of the Galaxy, and they are trying to seal this gate which is opening to another dimension by placing these runes in the correct place. It's kind of Mastermind with Pandemic squished in. You're going to have an app which is going to play the Mastermind and tell you when you place the runes, if you've placed them in the right place, or if you've got them in the collection, the set, but they're in the wrong place, or they're not in there at all. So it's Mastermind, Pandemic, with some fantastic art. I mean, I am zapped in immediately into playing this game again and again, because I just want to get that feel of playing Ulysses 31 and Guardians of the Galaxy, as I said. It's very, very simple. You're just basically playing cards of a particular character. You choose one of the characters, you go, I got all 3 of that character, and then you can say, well, I'm going to use 2 of those cards and do 2 actions on your turn, and you're going to be moving them around the board to either meet friends and pick up resources, or, well, not resources, but, you know, to light up beacons, which will let you scan the runes again to find out if any of them have moved and if, you know, you've got them in the right place, or it will help the sun track keep the eclipse from happening. There's monsters to fight, and there's a little bit of dice rolling, but it is a team game where you're trying to think, right, what's the best maneuver to do? Is it best for me to do lots of actions on this character and do lots of things and fight monsters? Because what will happen is more monsters will come, and maybe more powerful monsters, because whenever you fight them, you roll a moon, you will approach the eclipse a bit more quicker. So that's the risk you got to take. It's very quick playing, although our first game was like an hour long, but that was like with the inclusion of the rules explanation to my daughter. But the game just felt kind of light, fluffy, but at the same time you had this theme on it, and it was a nice head scratching moment as we got to the end, and it was like, we know the runes are in this position, will we just make it? And no, we didn't make it. So it was a really, really quite enjoyable, but I'm lying, it's not really my first impression of the game, because I played it at Essen last year and we broke the game. So the game didn't break this time, Jamie. So this, really enjoyable. I can't wait to play it again, and you can play it solo as well. It comes with the solo variant. So that's what all cooperative games should be. And again, this has got bucket loads of stuff in it, and minis and extra cards and other monsters and other ways to play the game. So I'm looking forward to delving a bit more into this. This is Rising 5 from Gary Kim, Mondu, and Holy Grail Games. But that's all I've played brand new, because I was at Essen this year. Yes, working. Yes. Let's find out more from this guy. What? I'm on? Yeah, you're on, mate. Come on. Oh, okay. Credit-y thing. So yes, I went to Essen this year, but not in the capacity to go and look at all the games and play games with people and have fun. Tell a lie, I had fun. Yes, this year I went along to Essen and I was helping out Team Monolith, demonstrating their new game Batman, which nobody could buy because it's on a Kickstarter, which is coming in February. So I spent 4 days of my life teaching people how to have great fun with this game. Batman, let me tell you a bit about it. Now, Batman is a tactical strategy, combat, stealth board game with miniatures. And the main mechanic in the game is actually resource management. Yes, that's got you thinking. You're going to have a bunch of resources to manage. This resource is energy. Each player is going to have a certain amount of energy, and this is a one versus many system where one player will be controlling a Gotham villain and a load of thugs, and the other players will each have an individual hero. Each hero will have a finite amount of energy, which they're going to be recycling. They're going to be using it to do their actions. And the more energy you have, the more actions you can do on your turn. The less energy you have, the less actions you can do. Also, it's not a case of, you know, I'm going to use some energy to hit someone and then run over there, hit someone, and I've got lots of energy left. Oh, I'll run over there and hit that person, then I'll run over there and hit that. You can decide what kind of hit you're going to do. You could do a small normal hit, or you could do a big wallop. and that will require a big dollop of energy. So that's the heroes, but what about the villain? The villain will have a slightly different system. They will have this line, this kind of like lineup of their villains, and they're going to be able to activate them with their energy instead. And once you've activated them, their character card goes to the back of the queue, and that makes them more expensive to activate immediately. And so this queue is going to cycle. Does this sound familiar? Well, it should do. It's a system which is used with Conan, and if you've played Conan, this game will feel familiar. Although there are quite a few changes to the game to make it a bit more balanced, to make it feel like it is in the Gotham universe and not in Hyperborea. The fact that none of the characters can die is a blessing. You'll just get knocked out and stunned for a little while, so you're going to miss out on a few rounds while you recover, unless, you know, someone's nasty and punches you while you're still down. There's also the line of sight, which has been sorted out and cleaned up and makes the game a lot more smoother. And then you have other things like each of the heroes are going to have completely different powers and special abilities, and again, every action is now coming with a level cap, so you can't re-roll infinitely if you've got lots of energy. There is a case of, wow, you have to stop now because, you know, that character is not going to be able to do that, or that character is not going to be able to do a smashing thump of 6 dice. And there's also a new skill included called something or other, probably intelligence. They haven't defined a name for it yet, but this is going to be used in your detective work when you're searching for clues or digging around. This is going to be a scenario-based system where you'll be able to get the one board out, play a scenario, and then pack it away, happy, content. And there will be possible some scenarios which will chain off of each other, so you'll create a story. It's also going to be based in the Batman universe, obviously, and what would the Batman universe be without a few Batman scenarios? Maybe some of your favorite scenarios of maybe Bane taking on Batman in Wayne Manor before he... And of course there is the Court of Owls and the Long Halloween. Wouldn't it be great to live out some of those scenarios? And also there's going to be a skirmish mode where 2 players will go head to head. They will draft a little army of villains and heroes, and they will put it in this line-up kind of river thing like in Conan, and you're going to be going back and forth with that. Now there's going to be about 20 scenarios in the base campaign, 2 boards which are double-sided, so there'll be 4 maps, and there are already 130 different sculpts for the game. So you're going to see a lot of Gotham people that you know, maybe people you don't know, and who knows what's going to be around the corner. This game plays out differently each time you play the same scenario. I've seen the scenario played over 50 times now, and I've seen scenarios where Catwoman is the hero and she's been dodging in and out and defusing bombs. I've seen scenarios where Bane is the hero, where he takes out the Bat or he pummels Catwoman to a powder. And then I've seen times when Red Hood's been the hero and he's cleaned the streets of all the Gotham filth. And then there's been times when Batman has been the hero. He's protected Catwoman, he's defused bombs that Catwoman failed to do. It's been a wild roller coaster, and as I said, each time the same scenario is played, it plays out slightly different. So there is quite a bit of replayability just in one scenario on its own. So that's Batman, which is a Kickstarter coming in February. Look out for that. I'll keep you posted on anything that I hear about, and hopefully they will tell me more stuff that I can tell you, which would be great. Yay! So yeah, I had a wonderful time setting up the stand, although my train was late. I had a wonderful time hanging out with the guys at Monolith, so thank you Adnan, Jan and Johan. You guys are great, and thank you Monolith for the experience. I've lost my badge. Maybe I shouldn't have put it on eBay. But anywho, let's move on to the prize draw. So now to the prize draw, courtesy of Dragon Castle. Yes, it's your chance to win a digital download copy of my CD soundtrack Last Night. You know, I would like offer the free copy of Seventh Continent soundtrack that I've done, but that's already free. So what I've done is I have written down a list of all my Patreons here, and I have assigned a particular tile to them from Dragon Castle, and then that player, that person, will be the winner. So let's dig a little deeper and see what we get. We get a 5-sword red, which no, nobody's read 5-sword reds. Okay, let's have a look for another one. We have a 4 yellow dot thing, which no. Let's try it one more time. What do we have here? We have a piece of paper, and on it it says elephant, which means it's Elephant Girl. You have won the prize draw, and it was very nice to see you at Essen. I say hello, madam. How are you? Yes, I bumped into Liev at Essen. We had a good old chin wag. She was doing some work for Portal Games as well. Hint, hint. I also got to bump into someone else who is new to my Patreons, and that's Gaming Rules Grogan. We had a quick touch and hello to each other. Yeah, so let's change the subject quickly. I'd like to say thank you to all my patrons. That's Kevin, you know who you are, yes. And Curly T, thank you very much. Elephant Girl, mwah, bisous. Gaming Rules Grogan, he's the man. Go and check out his channel, Gaming Rules. Olivier, not Olivia. Sorry, you're masculine, not feminine. And of course, Andrew. Thank you very much, chaps. If you're watching this video and you're not a Patreon subscriber, go and do it. For $5, you can win yourself some goodies. I'll send you some special promos. The tongue is. This morning I was, and now I'm, you know, strange day. So thank you very much for watching. And remember, you don't have to buy every single board game out there. You just need to buy a few good ones, and hopefully I point you in the direction of which ones are good and which ones are not. I don't think I've got any bad games here. Ciao for now.
Just sitting at the table next to Felicia would be quite nice. Wouldn't it be good? I got some board games, I don't know how many. Just like they do